Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to New York City. Today we are continuing on the trend of covering every neighborhood and giving you an everything you need to know guide about the city. And we're in Manhattan right now in the Lower East Side, also dubbed LES if you want. We're going to be exploring this place and giving you an everything you need to know sort of guide about the video. But I want to remind you guys, subscribe and turn on those notifications before we begin this video because I'm covering every single neighborhood in Manhattan. So we're going to cover it right now. Let's begin by rolling the intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the video has officially begun, and I have brought my resident New Yorker friend, John Barr. You guys love him. This is John Barr.
Do they love me? I don't know.
Here be Barr. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing great. I am ready to walk around with you, drop a little bit of insider information. Not a lot, but a little bit, because I live very close to here.
Yeah, John lives near here, and so for him, this is going to be a sort of like walk around in his area, and we're going to be just exploring up and down the Lower East Side. And we've come, first of all, to what is dubbed the most famous in New York City. This is KATZ'S Delicatessen, right?
Yeah, KATZ'S.
KATZ'S. It is super famous to come and get food. We're actually gonna be overlaying some of John's footage because he's been here before. I haven't, and honestly, I don't want to pay for it. It's so expensive. What kind of prices are you looking when you get in there, John?
I think it's something like $24 for a pastrami sandwich. Now, you can share it with 2 people, so it's very expensive, probably the most expensive sandwich in New York. But I think you've got to try it at least once. You got to see if it lives up to the hype. That's my opinion.
It's definitely a good tourist attraction, but we're gonna avoid it for right now. We're gonna head off to our next location here in the Lower East Side. Let's go. Spot number 2, we have come to ROCKWOOD Music Hall. This is a famous music venue here in the Lower East Side. And we got 3 stages, right, John?
You got stage 0, stage 1, stage 2. Stage 1 is your best value because it's always free. They have a bar and they have really good musicians who just come through. A lot of times from other cities in the US. I saw a really good country act here a couple months ago from Nashville. He was awesome, totally free. Just get a beer, sit at the bar, enjoy it. Or the bigger acts, you gotta go stage 2. You're gonna pay for it, line up, but there's just something for everybody here. It's a really great venue in the Lower East Side.
This is a great place to come if you're here on vacation in New York, I think. Just make sure that you check on their website for information of who's performing and when things are going on before. Clearly, we're here during the day, so there's nothing really going on right now, but it is definitely a cool spot to check out. And with that, let's go check out another spot. All right, so directly behind us right now is the KOBRA art mural. I don't know, I don't even want to tell you guys I specifically know exactly what's going on here, but I know there's 2 of these very important murals here in the Lower East Side, and there are 2 of them are very close to each other, so we're gonna walk to the next one right after this, but mural with a kid holding a gun that says stop guns, and he's taking a selfie. So I don't know exactly what it's in reference to. I don't want to be ignorant and say things that I'm not sure about, but it is a cool, beautiful piece of art here in the Lower East Side. So the next mural that we're hitting up is another one by KOBRA, same guy who designed the first one. And this one has a bunch of famous artists on it. There's Amy Winehouse and Jimi Hendrix, and who else did we say?
We think it might be Jim Morrison. We think it's Kurt Cobain, but we've got half a face to work with, so maybe you guys can tell us in the comments who it is.
Don't kill us too much in the comments if we don't know exactly who they are, but we definitely know that that's Amy Winehouse. But that's cool, that's another great mural that's right here, and I actually know this area fairly well because it's right on the border of Chinatown, and I've been spending quite a bit of time here. So the next location we're heading to is a park that's right here on the border between the Lower East Side and Chinatown. Alrighty, we have made it. This is the SARA Roosevelt Park here in the Lower East Side. The reason why I know this park, and really the only reason why I want to mention it, is one, it's one of the largest parks in the Lower East Side from what I've understood. This is where the Chinese Lunar New Year parades both start and end. So it is something that you want to keep in mind to have a beautiful footage from the beginnings and endings of this parade. Both the parade and the festival's opening days, they take place right here in this park, and this park stretches all the way down. I wouldn't say it's like the most fun place to hang out. It's just a park, but for those festivals specifically, it's a really cool place to come to. And that being said, it is just a park, so we're gonna head off to the next location. The 2 Jews have come down to a synagogue. So this place is kind of a cop-out with the Lower East Side. It's really on the border of Chinatown. It's really far into the Lower East Side, but it is a synagogue. So it's turned into a museum now, museum at Eldridge?
Yeah.
Eldridge Street, but it also is an operating synagogue. So basically, it's Sunday through Friday at 3 p.m. It's operating as a normal museum, but then Friday afternoon until Saturday night, it operates as a fully working synagogue for Jewish people to come and pray, which is really cool. So I might actually come here one of these Shabbats and try to do a little prayer sesh for Shabbat. But that is cool. It's not all the time that you see a giant, grandiose synagogue in the middle of New York City. It looks like something straight out of Europe. You wanted to say something about the Jewish history here.
The Lower East Side was one of the most historic Jewish communities for a long time, especially around the turn of the century. There's Yonah Schimmel's Knish Bakery, which is really famous. I've been there before. Check it out for sure. I believe there used to be, still might be there, a little matzah factory as well in the Lower East Side. It's got Russ and Daughters if you want to get bagels with lox. Even KATZ'S. So much Jewish tradition and culture still exists in the Lower East Side, even if the more like observant Orthodox Jews don't really live here anymore.
It was really baked into it. One thing that I was reading is that at one point, the Lower East Side harbored the largest community of Jewish people in New York.
Definitely.
So with these police sirens coming up, we're gonna leave because it's getting too loud. Let's go to our next location, the Lower East Side. All right, another quick one here. This is just for the tourists, for people who have watched the show Mr. Robot. I personally haven't seen it before, but this is apparently one of the set pieces from the TV series Mr. Robot. I don't know, I've never watched the show before, but it is a location. It's cool. Once again, you gotta remind yourself always when you're walking around New York City, so many things to see that are a part of movies and film and in the industry in general. So there you go, that's it for you. And now we bounce off to, I think, the most exciting piece of the Lower East Side. All right, just a little bonus here on the Lower East Side. This place is called Donut Plant, but they are the originators of the creme brulee donut. So it is another really cool place to try. They're rated one of the best donuts in New York City for sure. So you're gonna wanna check this place out if you're in the Lower East Side, but they do have other locations, so if you're not here, you can check them out. All right, so behind John and I right now is the Essex Street Market. I've actually seen this building many, many times and I've never entered it. You as well, right?
Never.
We're gonna enter the Essex Street Market. Basically what this is supposed to be is like a meat, produce, like fish, vegetables, whatever you need, and like vegetable market just all laid out there. Kind of like a style that you wouldn't really find at a supermarket, more of like an open air market, but indoors. So let's check it out and see if it holds up.
The smell of cheese and meat is very strong right now. It's getting me hungry. I just ate like an hour ago.
This is cool though. This is really close to just one of those like local markets anywhere you'd find around the world. Really awesome to find this in the middle of New York. And there's so many different types of foods here. You got your cheeses, your meats, your produce, whatever you want. And it's just all kind of open air, I guess, and you can come and pick from fresh food. All right, so now what we're doing is basically John Barr over here is gonna be taking us on a quick brief, because we're both very tired, little tour of some cool places to go out at night here in this part of the Lower East Side. So what's stop number one here?
Stop number one is called MEHANATA, and it's a Bulgarian themed bar. So you go in there and they have really random like Eastern European music playing. But what I think is the coolest is if you go downstairs to the basement, I think you pay something like $20 or $30 a person. You put on these Soviet era like costumes and you go in an ice room, and then you each get one little shot glass and you have something like 2 to 3 minutes to take as many shots as you want. I'll warn you that it'll hit you pretty hard, but if you're with a party and you want to drink a lot, it's a very interesting deal. And it's also a really good photo op. I did it for my birthday a long time ago, so for like the younger viewers out there, it's something that could appeal to you if you just want to have a very memorable New York experience.
All right, Johnny boy, you wanted to tell us something about the area?
Lower East Side these days has a reputation for being a big nightlife area for people in their 20s, and I think there's a lot of really cool spots to go out in, but I think a lot of the local residents are not happy about what's happened here. You know, the area's lost a lot of its grit and its appeal, and I think that especially on weekends, it's absolutely crazy here, and it's very noisy, and if you lived in the Lower East Side and you want some peace and quiet, streets like this one right here, you would go insane every weekend. So I know there's a lot of tension in this area, so I think it's a fun place to go out, but for me, it would be very difficult to live here knowing that that's one of the big focal points.
All right, Johnny, tell us about Pianos.
So Pianos is a cool spot. It's this super hipster joint here in the Lower East Side. It has long lines on the weekends, but it's a good spot to see live music. If you're into dancing, it's probably one of the closest things you can find to a club in the area. Let's go upstairs. I think it's like $10 cover. I personally prefer coming here during the week, sitting downstairs, having a drink. Pretty good scene. Weekends gets a little bit crazy, so that's my take on it, but it's kind of one of those places you have to come to at least once.
So now we're going to head off to our last location in the Lower East Side, which is my favorite dollar pizza place. Probably at this point, it's probably my favorite pizza place in New York City.
For the record, I did not know they had dollar pizza. I like it a lot too, but I've never had the dollar slice there.
So we're about to enlighten John's world. We're going to Essex, Champions on Essex Street. $1 pizza, the best in the city in my opinion. Let's go get some delicious pizza and end this video. All right, my boy. Best dollar slice in New York. Are you ready for this one?
I just want to say for the record, I didn't know they had dollar slices because they raised prices to $2 after 10, and I'm always here late at night.
John, take a bite of the best pizza in New York City.
All right, we'll see. Tomato is actually very good. Whatever sauce they use is nice. As far as dollar pizza is concerned, this actually may be the best dollar slice I've ever had. But I'm not saying it's my favorite slice in New York. I have a lot of other pizzas I like better. But for $1, this could be the king. I think we're going to agree on that.
Guys, you guys know I've eaten this before on camera. I've eaten this many times on camera. Every time it just gets better and better. For real, I'm the biggest advocate for this pizza. It is so, so good. This is my favorite way to end a video here in the Lower East Side. It was my favorite pizza in the Lower East Side. Right, Lower East Side. That was freaking fun as hell. So happy that you joined me, John.
No problem, anytime.
Let the people know what you do on your channel and where they can follow you.
Yeah, so I do a lot of the similar things to Tal. I'm at Airbnb Bar. I make a lot of New York City travel guides, show you cheap stuff, show you wacky restaurants and neighborhoods. Give me a look if you want to learn more about New York.
I could not have done this one without John. I appreciate him letting me borrow his footage and giving us that local insight because John's a local here. Wait, one more time. You gotta love the New York locals.
Gotta love New York.
But yeah, you guys gotta follow John. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, anytime.
Make sure that if you guys want to support this channel, you guys buy some merchandise. It'll be on screen in the description down below. And just remember that I love you a long time. And there's more of this stuff coming. So see you in the next one. Goodbye, Klats.